Lone Cowboy lived alone for years, until 10. Giant Apache women asks for shelter. For years, a quiet man lived far from town, speaking only to wind, dust, and old scars. But everything changed the night 10 giant Apache women appeared at his door, bruised, starving, and running from something too dark to say out loud. Now the empty cabin that once felt like safety may become the center of a storm no one is ready to face. Why did they choose him? And what dangerous truth follows behind them? The cold wind rattled the cabin door again, shaking loose sand from its hinges. A single lantern flickered inside, throwing shadows across the wooden floor. The man sat at a small table, sharpening a dull blade, trying not to think about the voices that used to fill that room. The sudden pounding on the door froze his hand mid-motion. 3 knocks, slow, heavy, firm, like fists that had never known fear. He rose to his feet, grabbed the lantern, and spoke through the wood. "Who's there?" No answer, only breathing, low, steady, more than one person. "I don't want trouble," he warned. A deep female voice answered, short and tired. "We need shelter." He hesitated, hand still on the door latch. "How many of you?" 10. He paused long enough to feel his pulse climb toward his throat. "Are you armed?" "We are tired. Hunger is our only weapon tonight." He opened the door slowly, and the lantern light caught them. 10 giant Apache women, taller and broader than any warrior he had seen in years, their skin marked with dust, travel cuts, and battles that spoke louder than words. Some leaned on each other, some held makeshift bandages, and all stared with eyes that refused to fall. The lead woman stepped forward. "We will not harm you. We only need one night's fire." The man looked at them, then at the sky, noticing no horses, meaning they walked far too far. Without another word, he stepped aside and held out the lantern. "Come in. Warm yourselves." They entered slowly, quiet, respectful, scanning every corner as if danger lived inside walls as well as outside. He placed his only blanket around the weakest of them, her legs shaking from exhaustion. "You can drink first," he said, sliding over his last water jug. The lead woman lowered her head, not in defeat, but in honor. "You share what little you have. Why?" He swallowed. No one survives alone forever. But as he closed the door behind them, the night howled, and far away, a torch-lit line of riders crested the ridge. "Did anyone follow you?" The lead woman didn't blink. "We were not running. We were chosen." The cabin filled with heat from the small fire, but the air stayed tense, like a rope pulled too tight between lives that never planned to cross. The man handed out thin slices of dried meat, hoping it was enough for 10 hungry warriors who looked like they had marched across half the desert. Their eyes scanned every corner, every shadow, every nail in the wall, as if danger might rise out of the floorboards. The sand outside hissed against the wood, pushed by a cold desert wind that never slept. One of the giant women sat closest to the fire, her breath unsteady. "You live here alone?" she asked. "Yes," he answered. "No visitors, no neighbors, no trouble." Another woman studied him with sharp eyes. "No one chooses that," she said. The man set down the meat knife. "Some do," he answered, voice low. Silence, long, heavy, respectful. The tallest woman leaned forward. "We thank you," she said. "Warmth means life." He nodded. "You walked far?" They exchanged glances, as if words might be traps. The lead woman answered with care. "Far enough to lose those behind us." He poured water into a tin cup and passed it slowly. "Drink slow," he warned. "Your bodies are weak." One of them shook her head. "Our bodies are strong, our hearts are tired." Another spoke, while checking a bandage along her thigh. "We could run longer," she said, "but running is not living." The man knelt beside her, examining the cloth. "This needs cleaning," he whispered. The wounded woman tensed. "No blade," she warned. "No blade," he promised, showing empty hands. With careful fingers, he removed the old bandage, revealing a long scrape with sand stuck deep inside. He dipped a rag into hot water, moving slow, quiet, gentle. The other women watched him like hawks, ready, silent, loyal. "You treat wounds?" the tallest asked. "I learned from loss," he replied. The woman beside the door tilted her head. "Loss teaches hard," she said. He nodded once. "The hardest—" His hand trembled slightly, not from fear but from memories. He tied a clean strip of cloth around the wound. "It will hold until morning," he said. A soft hum of approval moved through the group. Not joy, but respect. "You care for people you do not know," one woman whispered. He looked into the fire. "Once, I cared too late." The wind outside roared harder, shaking dirt loose from the roof. The tallest woman walked to the window and lifted the cloth curtain with 2 fingers. "Tracks," she muttered. "Not horse tracks, wagon tracks, heavy load." His jaw tightened. "How close?" "Far," she replied, "but coming with purpose." Another woman added, "No dust storms, no wind trails, tracks will stay." He set down the cup. "You said you were chosen." "Chosen by who?" They looked at each other again, not fear, but agreement that truth carried weight. The lead woman spoke first. "An old council, women only, we were sent away." He frowned. "Sent away or cast out?" She answered with slow breath. "Both. We returned from raids with strength greater than others. They said the earth marked us. They feared our size, they feared our voices." Another added, "We grew beyond what they expected. We did not bend." The woman with the bandaged leg looked into the fire and whispered, "They said we should leave before destiny found us." The man swallowed, unsure what destiny meant in their terms. "You came here by chance?" "No chance," the lead woman said. "No map either, only signs." He leaned back, unsure. What kind of signs? At first, no one answered. Then the tallest spoke with calm certainty. "A hawk landed near your cabin. It waited. It watched. It did not fly until we walked this way." The man stared, confusion mixing with caution. "That could mean anything." "It meant follow," she said. "So we did." He stood and moved closer to the fire, wanting to understand but not willing to believe without reason. "You think you were guided here?" "Yes," she answered, "and not only us." A deep rumble echoed outside, not thunder, not hooves, but the slow grind of heavy wood and metal rolling over sand. Every woman turned her head at once. The man whispered, "That's not normal for this hour." The lead woman rose to full height and tightened her leather strap. "They found us sooner than we hoped." The window trembled again, this time from lantern light moving across the yard. "Do you want us to hide or fight?" The fire popped, sending sparks into the dark cabin air. Every person inside turned toward the window, where a thin line of yellow light slid slowly across the dirt, like a snake made of fire. The tall women shifted their weight, not out of fear, but readiness. The lone man closed his hand around a piece of wood, the closest thing to a weapon he had without bringing out steel too soon. He whispered, "No sudden moves." The tallest woman answered quietly, "No fear here." Another leaned close to the ear of her sister. "We watch first, strike last." The wagon outside slowed, the wheels crunching over hard sand. The man whispered, "That wagon shouldn't be here at night." "Agreed," the lead woman replied. He blew out the lantern to reduce shadows inside. The fire stayed as the only light, its orange glow dancing across strong shoulders and serious eyes. The cabin felt smaller now, tighter, as if the walls listened too. The rumble stopped. The world turned still. Then came a man's voice from the darkness. "Hello, the cabin?" No one answered. "Got business?" the voice called. The lone man whispered to the group, "Stay silent." The voice outside grew sharper. "No, someone passed this way." "Need a word." One of the giant women clenched her jaw. "Tracks showed," she muttered. The man stepped toward the window, speaking low. "He can't see us, but he knows someone's here." Suddenly, a second voice joined the first, younger, nervous. "Saw footprints, sir. 10, maybe more." The first man hissed, "No farmer has 10 guests at night." The giant woman closest to the door whispered, "We leave now." The lead woman said, "No." "Leaving shows guilt." The man thought fast. "If they think I'm alone, they leave." "How?" one asked. He pointed to the shadows at the back. "Stay still. No sound unless I speak." The tallest woman lowered her voice. "Speak truth or speak cover." "Cover," he whispered. "For now." He cracked the door slightly and stepped outside, leaving it mostly closed behind him. The night air was colder than before, and the sky wore no moon, only shifting clouds that chased each other like ghosts. Two men stood near a wagon carrying locked crates and canvas bags. A lantern hung off the side, painting their faces in a yellow, uneasy glow. One man wore a long coat, clean boots, and a wide hat that hid his eyes. The younger wore a badge around his neck, not on his chest, as if he wanted the power, but not the risk. "What do you want?" the lone man asked. The older man studied him. "Quiet place to live alone?" "That's right," he said. "You seen anyone pass?" the older man asked. "No," he answered. "How long you been inside tonight?" "A while," the lone man replied. "Storm picked up." The younger man leaned toward the wagon. "Tracks say heavy group, big feet, maybe barefoot." The older man grinned slightly. "That match anything you've seen?" The lone man kept his breath steady. "No one here but me." The older man studied his face for several seconds. "You sure?" "Yes." "You live honest?" "Trying," he replied. Inside the cabin, one of the giant women whispered, "Men of law." Another answered, "No." "Men of advantage." The lead woman kept her voice low. "They smell value." "Not justice." Outside, the younger man walked toward the cabin window, peering in through the cracks. The tallest giant woman pressed her back tight against the wall, muscles tensed like coiled rope. Her breathing slowed, her eyes fixed on silence. "We heard stories," the older visitor said, stepping closer. "Stories of unusual travelers." The lone man tightened his grip on the wood. "Stories travel faster than truth." The older man's smile returned. "That they do." He tapped the wagon frame twice. "You got food enough for one man?" "Yes." "Water?" "Some." "Supplies?" "Enough." The older man leaned in. "You share with anyone else, and you'll lose it." A soft rise of anger flickered inside the cabin, but the lead woman held up her palm. "Patience first, danger second." The older man stepped back toward the wagon. "If you see anything strange, anything big, anything worth money, you come find us. We pay high." He lowered his voice. "And we take what's owed." He climbed onto the wagon. The younger man asked, "Sir, do we mark this cabin?" "Not yet," the older one replied. "It will mark itself." The wagon turned, wheels grinding slowly, lantern swinging. The lone man stayed outside until the sound faded to silence, then returned inside and shut the door fast. The lead woman stepped forward. "You lied for us." He nodded. "Yes." "Why?" she asked. He stared at the fire, voice soft. "Because men like that never come for justice, only for claim." The tallest woman spoke. "They saw tracks. They return." "Yes," he said, "and not alone." The lead woman lifted her chin. "Then we prepare." The lone man looked at her with caution. "Prepare how?" she answered with calm, unshaken certainty. "We do not hide. We build." The cabin felt different now. Not like a shelter, but like the start of something no one had planned. The fire crackled low, sending small bursts of orange light across the faces inside. The lead giant woman stepped toward the wall, running her hand along the rough wood grain as if testing its strength. The lone man watched her, unsure whether she planned to repair it, break it, or replace it. She turned to him. "You built this alone?" "Yes," he said. One of the women near the fire raised her head. "Then it stands strong." The tallest woman spoke next. "Walls speak about the builder." The lone man shrugged. "They speak about storms." A few quiet chuckles came from the group, not joyful, but recognizing shared hardship. The wounded woman shifted, wincing. The man crouched beside her again, checking the bandage gently. "You should lie down," he said. She shook her head. "Rest is weakness." He met her eyes. "Rest is repair." The lead woman nodded, granting silent approval. "Listen to him," she said. With effort, the wounded woman lowered herself to a bed of blankets near the fire. She pressed her jaw tight, refusing to show pain. The tallest woman handed her a small carved object made from wood, a token smooth and worn. The man looked from one woman to another, curiosity rising. "So you come as warriors," one answered firmly. "We come as what life made." Another added, Warrior is not title, it is result. He sat down across from them. What chased you? They exchanged another silent agreement. Then the lead woman spoke, voice calm, not afraid. Not chased, hunted. Hunted by who? He asked. A group of men who trade people, not goods, she replied. His eyes narrowed. Slavers? Yes, she answered. They want large bodies for labor. The man took a slow breath. They saw value where they should have seen respect. One woman's voice hardened. They called us monsters, too big for wives, too strong for peace. Another spoke, voice rough with memory. They wanted to sell us like livestock. The man's expression turned cold. I know that kind of man. The lead woman took a step closer. You faced them. Once, he whispered. A long silence followed, heavy like winter fog. The tallest woman leaned closer. Did you win? He stared into the fire flames. No one wins. No one argued. They understood pain-shaped truth more than speeches. Then, one of the women near the back of the room tapped her hand against the floorboard, slow and steady, listening not with ears but through vibrations. She whispered, The earth says wheels return. Not far yet, but near. He frowned. You can hear that, she answered without pride. Feet teach the ground to speak. Another woman added, and silence teaches us to listen. The man stood and grabbed a worn leather coat. We need a plan. The lead woman agreed. Yes, plans save breath. He pointed to the back window. If they come, we can slip through the arroyo. No, the tallest woman replied. Open ground makes us target. Another woman stood and picked up a thick log with one hand. We stay. We hold. The man shook his head. 10 against many with guns. You bleed too. We already bleed, one woman answered. The lead woman walked toward him and looked him directly in the eyes. You hide from the world. We stopped hiding today. He looked down, then spoke quietly. You want to stand, not escape. Yes, she said. Freedom without fear is better than long running. The man rested his hand against the table, torn between instinct and respect. I will help. But I won't build graves. The lead woman placed her palm on his shoulder, not for comfort, but recognition. Then we build strength. How? He asked. She turned to the group. Show him. In one motion, the 10 women rose, forming a silent line. One pulled at the floorboards, another checked ceiling beams, another tested the door hinge strength with a controlled push, not enough to break, but enough to know exactly when it would break. They were mapping the place like it was terrain, not a home. You want to fortify? The man asked. No, the tallest woman replied. Fortress invites siege. We build trap. He froze. What kind of trap? The wounded woman pointed to the dirt beneath the cabin. House stands on earth. Earth can take. He understood slowly. You mean dig? Yes, the lead woman answered. Dig to disappear. Dig to strike unseen. He hesitated, thinking long, then nodded. If we do this, we need tools. At that moment, from outside, a distant metallic whistle cut through the wind, a signal, not random, not natural, and not friendly. Every woman turned toward the door. The lead woman spoke with no fear, no shake, no doubt. The hunt begins sooner than dawn. The whistle faded into the dark, but its echo stayed alive inside the cabin, bouncing between walls like a warning sent by someone who already knew where fear lived. The lone man shut the window latch tight and lowered the cloth curtain, while the giant women moved into quiet formation, each reading the room like seasoned scouts. The firelight carved sharp shadows against their tall frames, making them look like statues carved by storms. The lead woman spoke first. That whistle is code. The man nodded slowly. Yes, search teams use it, one of the women asked. How far? He listened again, holding his breath. Half a mile, maybe less. The tallest woman turned toward the back door. We dig now. The wounded woman tried to stand. I help. The man raised a hand. No, you guard fire. Heat keeps life. She clenched her jaw in frustration but nodded. I watch. I warn. The lead woman pointed to the floor. Lift boards. Dirt weights. The man grabbed a pry bar from under the bed frame and wedged it between 2 floor planks. With a slow pull, He lifted the first board, dust floating up like old memory smoke. The women knelt beside him, not waiting for instruction. Their hands dug fast, steady, precise, like they had done it before in colder camps or harsher nights. "You trained for this?" the man asked quietly. One woman answered without stopping. "Life trains better than chiefs," another added. "Bigger bodies dig deeper trenches." The man handed them a second tool, a dull shovel head with no handle. "That's all I got." "It's enough," the lead woman said. As the hole grew, the dirt revealed layers, dry dust, compact clay, and then darker soil holding moisture from years of rain. The man touched it. "This layer can hide sound." The tallest woman nodded. "Good. We work quiet." He looked at her hands. "You dig like soldiers." "No titles," she replied, "only survival." The lookout woman near the wounded one suddenly raised 2 fingers, the silent signal they had used since arrival. The group froze. "What?" the man whispered. She closed her eyes and pressed one palm to the floor. Earth speaks again. Riders shift direction. "How many?" he asked. 6. "Maybe 7, she whispered. Weight heavy. Purpose dark. The injured woman tightened her grip around her blanket. "They smell a prize." A giant woman near the door responded with a cold breath. "They smell our price." The man's voice hardened. "They won't take anyone from here." The lead woman studied him. "You speak like oath." He nodded. "Because I've seen what they do." One woman paused, digging. "You lost someone." He stared at the fire until his eyes stopped blinking. "Yes." Silence fell like snow. Thick, heavy, slow. The lead woman lowered her head. "Then our pain meets yours," he whispered. "No one deserves chains." Another woman spoke with low iron in her voice. "We were never born for cages." The tallest woman touched the dirt wall of the growing trench. "This can hold 2 lines of bodies." The man leaned down. "We need space to breathe and escape path." "Yes," she said. "Tunnel toward trees." He exhaled slowly. "That takes hours." The lead woman answered, calm and direct. "We don't need hours, we need purpose." They dug faster, trading positions with silent rhythm. 3 digging, 2 clearing dirt, 2 flattening the walls, 1 shaping a crawl exit, 1 listening, 1 recovering strength. Every roll mattered. Suddenly, the lookout woman raised her hand again. "Stop!" Everyone froze mid-movement. She whispered, "No more whistle. New sound." The man leaned close. "What sound?" Metal tension, like rifle hammers pulled back. His face tightened. "They're preparing before they arrive." The lead woman looked to the side wall. "Light off fire." The man hesitated. "It's our warmth." The tallest woman answered, "Warmth kills stealth." He grabbed a wet rag and pressed it over the flame until it sizzled out, filling the cabin with smoke-scented darkness. Only the dying glow from the coals remained, faint as memory. One woman whispered, "They think we fear dark." The lead woman replied, "We are born from dark." Outside, a horse snorted, very close. Boots stepped into sand. More boots followed. The younger voice from before called softly, "Check the windows. Slow, ready weapons." The man and the giant women crouched beside the trench, hearts beating in tight rhythm. Then a new voice spoke, deeper, calmer, colder than the others. "We know you're not alone. Open the door or we open it." Every heartbeat inside the cabin moved in slow, tight rhythm, like the walls were breathing alongside them. The lone man kept one hand near the hidden trench, while the giant women spread along the shadows, tall bodies blending with dark wood. They did not tremble. They did not whisper fear. They moved like storm clouds, choosing when to break. The voice outside repeated, sharper this time, "Open the door." "Last warning," the lone man whispered. "No one touch the door." The tallest woman leaned closer. "They count bodies by noise. Stay still." Another woman pulled a small bone whistle from her belt, carved with tiny lines. "What is that?" the man whispered. "Breath signal," she answered. "Used for silent talk." "Can it reach others?" he asked. "No others," she replied. "Communication inside group only." The lead woman pointed to the back corner. "Move dirt over boards. Hide work. 3 women rushed to cover the trench with smooth layers of dirt and loose planks, making it look untouched. The cabin returned to a normal shape, though danger lingered like smoke under blankets. Outside, boots shifted. Someone said, "Break it. He's lying. I know it." The youngest voice sounded unsure. "Are we allowed, sir?" The older voice snapped, "Law follows coin." "We make coin." The lone man looked at the lead woman and whispered, "They won't leave." She nodded. "Then we win by patience." One woman lifted a long wooden beam from near the roof. "We lock door stronger." The man helped her slide it across the entrance, placing it under the iron hooks he'd hoped never to use again. The sound was soft, but final. Outside, knuckles hit wood. "Open, or we break hinges." Inside, the wounded woman sat up slowly. "They want fear smell." "Don't feed." The lookout woman pressed her palm to floor again. "More boots coming from south." "How many?" the man asked. 5, maybe 6. "Horses too tired," the lead woman whispered. "Second group joins. They surround." The man's chest tightened. "They plan search lines." "Yes," the tallest woman replied. "They think like hunters." He whispered, "You know hunter tactics." One woman answered, "We survived by knowing." A heavy silence took the room. No one blinked fast. No one wasted breath. The older man outside called again, tone darker now. "You have what belongs to us. We know it." The lead woman stepped closer to the door, eyes sharp. "We belong to no one." Her voice was steady but loud enough for the man inside the door to hear. Metal scraped outside, a blade leaving a sheath. "That voice isn't his," the older man said. "She's inside. They're inside." "Big ones," the younger man whispered. "I heard stories about them." The older one growled, "Stories pay nothing. Bodies pay plenty." Inside, the lone man clenched his jaw. "They won't listen." The lead woman faced him. "So they must fear," he whispered. "Fear leads to bullets." She nodded. "And bullets lead to choice." A small clatter outside made everyone look toward the back wall. Someone had stepped on loose tin near the woodshed. One woman whispered, "They check windows next." The tallest woman lifted her palm, signaling defensive circle. "We handle window entry first." The man whispered, "They could fire through walls." "No," she replied. "They want bodies clean, not riddled." He swallowed. "They're traders, not killers." The lead woman responded, "Traders kill slow. Hunters kill fast. Both destroy." Outside, someone struck the window frame with metal. A crack formed at the corner, but no full break. Just testing. The younger voice trembled. "Maybe we leave. Something feels wrong." The older voice snapped, "You leave, you lose cut." Another man asked, "What if they fight?" The older replied, "We drag them. 10 bodies. Big coin." Inside the cabin, anger simmered, not loud, not wild, but controlled like fire kept under iron lid. The lone man whispered, "There is another way." "What way?" the lead woman asked. He lifted a thin can from the shelf, marked with a dusty handprint. "Lantern oil. Windows burn fast." The tallest woman frowned slightly. "Fire kills air. Bad choice." He shook his head. "Fire outside and not inside." She nodded. "Smoke screen. Blind hunters." But the lead woman raised her hand. "No fire yet. Fire brings soldiers." The man lowered the can slowly. "You lead." "I follow." Then, from outside, a third voice appeared, calm, steady, different from both men before. "Step away from the door. I need a word. With the tallest." Inside the cabin, every giant woman lifted her head at once, eyes sharp as cold steel. The lead woman whispered, "They know our ranks." The cabin air stiffened when that third voice came through the dark. It didn't shout. It didn't threaten. It requested, and that made it more dangerous than any hammer against a hinge. The lone man whispered, "They brought a negotiator." The tallest woman squared her shoulders, breath steady. "We don't speak outside walls." The lead woman turned toward her slowly. "They use title. They study us." Another giant woman muttered from the shadows. "They count strength by height." Mistake. Outside, the calm voice called again. "I'm not here for coin." "Just words," the younger hunter whispered, barely heard. "Maybe he's a tracker, not trader." The older replied, "Same goal, different cloak." Inside, the lone man whispered, "If you speak, speak through wood, never face to face." The tallest woman nodded. "Speak hidden, not silent." She stepped closer to the door but stayed 2 full arm lengths away. Her voice came low, steady. "What do you want?" Silence outside for 3 beats. Then the calm voice answered, "You turned west 3 nights ago." Not a question, a statement. Inside, one woman whispered, "He read ground well." The tallest woman spoke again. "That matters why." The outside voice replied, "West leads to nowhere safe." The wounded woman hissed, "He wants doubt." The calm voice continued, "You left tribal land, you left rule, you left guard." The lead woman stepped forward now, though still hidden. "We left fear disguised as order." The calm man outside did not argue. Instead, he asked, "You seek free life?" "Yes," she answered. He paused again. "Then why hide in another man's home?" Inside, the younger giant woman whispered, "He aims to split trust." The lone man leaned closer to the lead woman. "Don't take bait." The calm voice spoke once more. "A home built by one man cannot hold 10 giants." The tallest woman answered, "Strength fits where spirit agrees." Then, unexpectedly, the calm voice changed tone, not mocking, not angry, but almost curious. "You fear traders, you fear cages, you fear chase." "No fear," the tallest woman replied. "Only choice." "Then choose now," he said. "Come out with me, not them." The cabin filled with anger like smoke. One giant woman slammed her fist against a supporting beam, making dust fall. "Divide game," she growled. The lead woman whispered, "He wants break in circle." Suddenly, another hunter outside stepped forward, voice impatient. "Stop wasting time. We take them now." But the calm man barked, sharp as whip. "Hold." Even the hunters obeyed that tone. The lone man mouthed silently, "Rank." The lead woman nodded, "Higher than traders." The calm voice spoke again, slower now. "I know your story. I know council sent you away." Inside, all 10 women froze mid-breath. No shifting feet, no blinking eyes. Even the fire seemed to fall quiet. The tallest woman whispered, barely audible, "He knows too much." The lone man whispered back, "Someone told him." Then the calm voice delivered a line none expected. "You weren't cast out. You were protected." The wounded woman gripped her blanket, eyes wide. "Lies?" she whispered. But the calm voice pressed. "Council feared raiders would use you as prize. They sent you away to save you." One of the giant women shook her head. "They lied by silence," the calm voice answered. "Silence was shield, not chain." The tallest woman lifted her head slowly. "Why speak truth now?" the outside man replied. "Because truth buys trust faster than gunpowder." Inside, the lone man whispered, "He wants to lead you somewhere." The lead woman asked through the wood, "You serve traders?" "No," the calm voice said. "I serve balance." The younger hunter outside whispered, "He's part of court riders." The older hunter spat, "Paper men, full of rules." The lone man glanced at the lead woman. "Paper men mean warrants." "Not coin," the tallest woman asked. "You carry badge?" "No badge," the calm voice said. "Badge fears truth. I walk truth." Another woman whispered, "Talk like spirit man." The lead woman asked, "What do you want?" Finally, the calm voice answered it. "I want to know who leads your circle because someone else is missing." The cabin froze a second time, 10 giant women. But silence admitted something. There should have been 11. The man inside whispered, "You lost someone." The tallest woman stared into darkness. "We never lose body, we lose decision." The calm voice spoke with quiet weight. "Then one of you chose a different path and told someone where you walk." Inside the cabin, the trust circle cracked like thin ice. The lead woman turned slowly, eyes scanning her own group. No one spoke. No one denied. No one cried. Outside, The calm voice whispered with final certainty, "You have a traitor, and they are still here." The cabin turned silent again, but this silence was different. Not fear, not shock, suspicion. A cold, slow suspicion that walked across the room like it had its own boots. The lead giant woman scanned the faces of her sisters one by one. Eyes lowered, jaws tightened. Breathing slowed. No one stepped back, yet something shifted among them. A small, almost invisible rift. The lone man whispered, "He wants you to doubt." The tallest woman whispered back, "Doubt already walks with us." One woman clenched her hands. "We left with 11. We stand 10, another added. "She walked off near River Bend." A third voice challenged, "She said she scouted trail." The wounded woman's voice cracked. "She said she'd return at nightfall." The lead woman lowered her chin. "She knew meeting point." "She never returned," the lone man whispered. "Could she be taken?" One woman replied, "She is too strong for capture." Another muttered, "Strength does not guard heart." Outside, the calm voice spoke again, "I hear you thinking." No one replied. He continued, "Trust is hardest weapon to carry." The older hunter snapped, "Stop with riddles. Open the door." But the calm voice snapped back, "Quiet, coin chaser." It was the first time the hunters outside heard firmness as threat rather than authority. Inside, the giant women circled slowly, facing each other, backs toward the walls, eyes sharp as winter ice. The wounded woman whispered, "She told us camp was safe." "But they found us." Another whispered, "She asked about our path before council spoke." The tallest woman added, "She looked long at our packs, not our eyes." The lone man stepped between them gently. Accusation without proof burns faster than fire. The lead woman looked straight at him, but truth protects like water. He nodded once, then search truth, not anger. The lookout woman pressed her palm again to the floor, listening. "Riders adjust formation." "How?" the tallest woman asked. "They spread left and right, flanking," the man whispered. "Then we have little time." The lead woman raised her palm. "Trust circle remains until proven broken." One woman asked, "What of missing sister?" "She chose path," the lead woman said, "but path does not prove betrayal." The wounded woman whispered, "She spoke with fear at council tent." Another corrected, "She spoke with doubt." "Doubt is not trappin'," the man whispered. "Her absence could mean injury." One woman answered, "Ordeal." The tallest woman spoke with deep weight. "We judge only when we stand safe." The lead woman nodded. "Yes, safety first, judgment second." Outside, the calm voice said, "I heard your oath. Fair." The older hunter yelled, "Oath doesn't matter. Break the door." The calm man spoke softly. "One strike, and you answer to me." A knife slammed into wood, not thrown, but stabbed by frustration. The blade tip poked through the inside of the door. The man inside murmured, "Patience breaking." The lead woman signaled two others, "Reinforce door." They lifted a heavy iron pot and wedged it under the handle, adding downward pressure. The tallest woman whispered, "What of trench escape?" The man answered, "Half dug, not safe yet." One woman said, "We finish dig now." Another countered, "Noise draws bullets." The lead woman raised her hand again. "No full dig, partial, enough for drop." The lookout woman asked, "Not tunnel?" "No tunnel," she replied. "Trap hole. Silent fall." The man nodded. "They break door, fall inside." The tallest woman smiled faintly. "So Earth becomes guard dog." They returned to their knees and dug again, hands moving like trained tools, soft and careful, no blade noise, only hush of dirt shifting. Outside, the calm voice called, "You still have choice." The lead woman answered, "Choice stays with us." The calm voice said, "Then prepare for hard morning." The older hunter cursed under his breath. "Dawn means questions." "We finish before—" The younger hunter whispered, "Should we fetch more men?" "No," the older replied. "Too much share weakens profit." Inside, the wounded woman stared at the door. "Profit men always fight clock." The tallest woman added, "Clock eats their nerve." Suddenly, a small tapping came from the back wall, not the door. Tap, pause, tap, tap. Every giant woman froze. The man whispered, "Animal?" The lookout shook her head. "No animal knocks rhythm." The tapping came again, 3 short, 1 long, an intentional signal, a code. The tallest woman leaned close to the wall, eyes narrowing. "That pattern belongs to missing sister," the lead woman whispered back, voice caught between hope and caution. "Either she returns or someone learned her signal." The tapping came again, slow and clear. 3 short, 1 long, then silence, like the night held its breath. The tallest woman pressed her ear near the back wall. "That is her pattern," she whispered. The lone man moved closer, voice low. "Code can be stolen. Hunters listen well." The lead woman nodded. "Test first, trust later." She tapped back against the wall with her knuckles, 1 long, 2 short, their private answer. For a moment, nothing. Then the reply came, corrected, exact. 1 long, 2 short. The wounded woman's eyes filled, but she bit it back. "That's her," she whispered. Another giant woman shook her head slightly. Hunters could force her. The lookout woman said, "Earth feels only 1 body outside, not many." The man frowned. "Alone means risk, either way." The lead woman straightened. "We cannot open door, we cannot ignore." The tallest woman added, "Back wall safer than front." The man nodded slowly. "There's a storage hatch near the shed." One woman asked, "Hidden?" "Low to ground," he replied. "Used for tools, not obvious." The lead woman decided fast. "We send 2 only, quiet, fast." The tallest woman stepped forward. "I go." The wounded woman tried to rise again. "I go too." The lead woman shook her head. "No, you stay." Another strong-boned woman moved up. "I'll go with her." The man whispered, "You open hatch, not full door." "Yes," the tallest woman said. "1 eye first, then hand." He handed her a small iron hook. "Lift latch from side." "Not front," she nodded. "If trap waits, trap eats hook first." The lead woman turned to the others. "Hold positions. Listen for signal." "What signal?" the lookout asked. The lead woman answered, "1 whistle, safe. 2, strike." The lone man moved to the floor opening. "The trench is deep enough now to hide 3, maybe 4. The tallest woman glanced at him. "Good. First strike comes from below." The wounded woman whispered, "What of riders?" The lookout pressed her palm down again. They circled slower, horses tired, men bored. "Bored men make mistakes," the lead woman said. The tallest and her partner slipped toward the back, bodies low, moving along the wall like shadows that had learned to walk. The man followed halfway, then stopped, not wanting to add more noise. Near the back corner, he lifted another loose board, revealing a crawl space barely high enough for a large dog. "Here," he whispered. "Follow the tunnel to the shed foundations." The tallest woman stared into the dark gap. "If it collapses—" "Dirt here is packed," he replied. "Short path. Hold breath. Move quick." She smiled faintly. "Short path is better than long death." She slid in first, shoulders scraping the sides. Her partner followed. The man lowered the plank behind them, hiding the passage from any searching eyes. Inside the main room, the wounded woman shifted closer to the trench. "If they break in, they fall." The lead woman nodded. "Then we end hunt quick." Outside, a hunter kicked the front step. "Doors barred, sir," he called. The older trader growled, "Cabin's 1 room and a fool. No worry." The calm voice spoke low. "Never treat 1 room lightly. Corners can bite." The older scoffed. "You think too much?" The calm man replied, "You think too little." Near the back of the cabin, the tallest woman reached the end of the crawl space. She felt cold air touching her face through thin boards. She listened. No boots, no wagon, just wind moving through dry brush. She whispered, "Ready," to the woman behind her. Her partner answered softly, "Lifting hatch." Using the iron hook, the second woman slid it under the edge of the small door under the shed wall. She lifted slowly. The wood creaked a little, then gave way. A thin bar of night spilled in, along with the smell of dust and wagon grease. She froze. "Grease," she whispered. The tallest woman frowned. "Explain." Wagon passed close, she replied. Not long ago. Hunters checking back too, the tallest woman said. They waited, eyes at hatch level, scanning the dark yard. The shed cast long shadows, and the wagon at the front was just a dim outline through gaps. Then, near the back wall, a shape moved. Large, slow, careful. The tallest woman gripped her hook. "Show face," she whispered. A voice hissed quietly, in the same cadence as before. 3 short, 1 long. The tallest woman exhaled. Step closer, head low. Hands open. A figure crawled into view, tall even on her knees, hair tangled, clothes torn, eyes burning with wild focus. "It's her," the partner whispered. The missing giant woman looked like she had fought the desert itself and nearly lost, but her eyes still held stubborn fire. "They followed," she whispered, "from Second Ridge." The tallest woman asked, "You led them?" "No," she answered, voice sharp. "I bled them." The partner squinted. "Explain." "I cut horse lines," the missing woman said, "made them drag chains instead." Inside the cabin, the lookout spoke suddenly. "Chains now," she whispered. "I feel chains." The lead woman frowned. "Chains how?" "Dragging sound," the lookout replied. "Not on riders, on ground." The missing woman continued at the hatch, words fast but clear. "They plan to tether us like animals." "Chains at stakes," the tallest woman muttered. "Ground already knows." The missing woman's eyes flicked toward the cabin. "We cannot wait for dawn. They set circle and tighten." The partner asked, "How many?" "At least 8 outside," the missing woman said. "More coming behind." The tallest woman's jaw tightened. "Hunters grow." The missing woman nodded. "They sent word from town." "Coin price raised," the partner whispered. "Then they risk bigger force." "Yes," the missing woman said. "They want to end this fast." The tallest giant woman drew a slow breath. "Then we don't wait for them to end." She turned her head slightly toward the cabin wall, knowing the others were listening through wood and floor. "Tell them," she whispered, voice calm and resolved. The missing woman's eyes sharpened. "We flip their circle," she said. "They tighten around cabin. We move behind. We cut their exits. We drive them to trench, not ourselves." The partner nodded slowly, seeing the shape of the plan. "Use their ring against them." The tallest woman allowed the faintest hint of a grim smile. "Hunters think we are boxed," she murmured. "Tonight we prove the box belongs to them." Inside the cabin, the lookout lifted her head, palms still on the floor. "Riders split," she whispered. 2 move toward backshed." The lead woman's eyes hardened. "Then the first part of the trap begins now." Inside the cabin, the lead woman raised both hands for silence. No one breathed loud. No one shifted weight. This was no longer fear. It was formation. The lone man whispered, "2 near shed, we must warn them." The lead woman shook her head. No voice. Only signal. She picked up a wooden spoon and tapped the table leg near the floor. 1 tap, pause, 2 taps, slow scrape, inside the crawl path. The tallest woman heard the faint rhythm and whispered, "They know riders close." The missing woman took a slow breath. "No retreat, we commit," the partner whispered. "We must move outside, not back inside." The tallest woman nodded. "Yes." "Cabin defense stays." "We attack from dark." Back in the main room, the lookout woman pressed her palm deeper. "They step soft, testing ground," the wounded woman whispered. "They smell ambush but not see shape." The lead woman spoke softly. "Move to trench, hide 5." The man asked, "Why 5?" She replied, 5 shadows below, 5 shadows above." He nodded. "Even split." 2 lines. The tallest woman and her 2 partners slowly crawled out from under the shed, moving like night animals. They stayed low, shadows among shadows. The missing woman scanned the dark yard. Her voice stayed a grain above breath. 2 men south, 1 near barn, 1 near trough. The partner asked, "Weapons drawn?" "Yes," she whispered. "Guns ready, knives at belts." The tallest woman studied the ground. Dirt soft near trough. "We trip him first." Inside the cabin, 3 giant women climbed silently down into the trench, bodies folding slow and controlled, hiding below floor level. No dirt fell, no plank creaked. The lookout woman whispered upstairs, "Riders now scan windows, lantern low." The lead woman whispered back, "They wait for break-in noise." The man whispered, "Then we make fake noise." One woman crawled to the pantry shelf and pushed a metal cup off the edge. It clattered loudly in the far corner. Outside, a hunter snapped, "He's moving that way, ready." The tallest woman near the shed muttered, "They swallow bait fast." Her partner whispered, "We strike while aimed wrong." From the cabin, the lead woman signaled, "Closed fist, open palm, point down, attack cue." Outside, the missing woman slid across dirt toward the trough. She found a rope piece, half buried, old but strong. She tied one end to a post, the other around a low branch, low enough to trip a running man, high enough to not be seen. The tallest woman whispered, "Next step, force chase." The partner nodded, "Make them rush." The tallest woman threw a pebble at the shed wall. Thud. A hunter near the trough reacted fast. "They're back here, move." He ran toward the shed and hit the rope hard. His body flipped forward, gun flying into dust. He yelled as air punched from his lungs. The tallest woman grabbed his gun and slid into dark. No shout of victory, just precision. Back inside, the lead woman whispered, "One down, 10 more." The man counted in his mind, "They won't notice missing until call check." The wounded woman whispered, "Hunters always call when restless." Outside, the older trader hissed, "Sound from back, check it." 2 more men moved toward the shed, stepping slow, guns out. The calm voice said nothing, only watched. Near the shed, the missing woman dragged the fallen hunter's gun under brush. She whispered, "No guns for them, no noise for us." The partner whispered, "Next target." The tallest woman scanned. "Barn man, light weak near hay." Inside the cabin, the lookout whispered, "One rider alone near wagon, he checks wheel." The lead woman spoke, "That one sees wide." "Harder kill," the man said. "Blind spots near chimney and well." The lead woman nodded. "We use darkness wells, no bodies left in open." The 3 trench women waited, hands on prepared boards, not scared, just timed. Outside, the barnside hunter leaned against the wall for rest. He wiped his face with his sleeve. Lantern light behind him created shadow in front. Perfect cover. The partner whispered, "He stands still." "Easier," the tallest woman shook her head. "Still man can scream." The missing woman whispered, "Then choke air, not bone." She slipped behind him and placed her massive hand over his mouth, pulling him back into shadow. He struggled twice, then stopped. They eased him to ground without sound. Inside, a woman in the trench whispered, "2 down." The lead woman whispered, "Ground turns to our side." Outside, the calm voice finally spoke again, "Check formation." "Sound off." Silence. One hunter said, "I hear only 4. The older trader hissed, "Lies. Count right." The calm voice said, "Count again." They counted. Only 4 replied. The older trader froze. "Something wrong." The calm voice answered, low and steady, "They hunt us, not we hunt them." The younger hunter whispered in panic, "Where are others?" The calm voice replied, "Underground or behind us." Inside, the lead woman whispered, "They now fear dark." The man whispered, "Fear changes aim." Outside, the older trader ordered, "Lanterns high." All lights up. Multiple lanterns rose at once and revealed something none had noticed. A second wagon, hidden by brush, arriving without sound, and carrying a locked iron cage. The tallest woman whispered from the shed line, breath like steel. "New wagon means plan changed. They want capture, not search." The cage stood out even in low lantern light. Thick bars, double locks, reinforced corners, new rope coils hung from its frame like serpents waiting for orders. The tallest woman whispered, "They built cage for giants." The missing woman replied, "They expected us alive." The partner added, "They invest heavy coin. They fight long." Inside the cabin, the lookout whispered, "Lanterns spread, shadows thinner now." The lead woman answered, "We move slower." Darkness shrinking. The lone man stared at the cage, his voice tight. They didn't bring that for they brought it for one. The wounded woman whispered, one for trade, others for chase. The lead woman said, divide target. Fear strategy. Outside, the calm voice spoke low. Remove cage cover. 2 hunters lifted the canvas. Another man turned lantern toward it. Light flashed against iron, revealing a branding iron strapped to the side. The tallest woman whispered, brand means ownership. The missing woman's voice darkened. They treat bodies like cattle. The man closed his eyes briefly, then whispered, we cannot let any be taken. One captured becomes map. The lead woman nodded slowly. No one leaves circle alone. The lookout pressed her palm again to the floor. They prepare 3 groups, 1 toward shed, 1 toward barn, 1 toward front. The wounded woman whispered, flank from all sides. The lead woman answered, we break one side, not all. The man whispered, northern trees give cover better than south. The tallest woman agreed, more rocks, less lamp reach. The missing woman added, ground softer too, better for low crawl. Inside the cabin, 2 trenchwomen adjusted their positions, preparing for collapse strategy. Their voices were steady, no fear, no panic. The lead woman whispered, strike only when certain, no rushed blood. The man said, key target is calm man, others follow him. The tallest woman whispered back, remove mind, break plan. Outside, the calm voice inspected ground, shedding marks, drag signs, missing hunters unseen. The older trader forced a laugh. Wolves maybe. The calm voice answered, wolves don't hide weapons. One hunter whispered, should we fire shots? The calm voice replied, that scares prey. Scared prey runs smart. The younger hunter trembled. They stalk us like shadows. The calm man didn't deny it. He whispered instead, they became hunters, we became noise. At the shed, the tallest woman clenched her jaw. He learns fast. The missing woman whispered, smart enemies die slower. The partner asked, what now? The tallest woman looked at the ground. We change sides again, never where they expect. She lifted a small rock and tossed it lightly toward the barn. It hit wood with a hollow knock. One hunter shouted, they moved left, barn side. 3 lanterns swung, turning away from the shed. The missing woman whispered, light leaves cage side weaker. The tallest woman nodded. Then we strike near cage, not barn. Inside, the lead woman whispered, they shift weight wrong again. The man said, this is moment for disruption. The lookout whispered, wind moving east, smoke can hide. The lead woman looked at the man. You have fire powder. He pointed under a crate. Black powder jar. Small, but fierce. Fuse, she asked. Cloth strip, he replied. Slow burn, 10 seconds. The tallest woman whispered from outside, we need distraction near cage, not explosion. The missing woman added, smoke without fire, blind eyes, not burn earth. The man whispered back through wall grain, I can make dust cloud, kick ashpan, throw sand. The lead woman nodded. Yes, dust blinds, silence stays. Outside, the calm voice said, we secure cage area. 2 watch, guns raised. The younger hunter hesitated. What about missing men? Still no sign. The older trader barked, they got lost. Focus forward. But the calm man replied, lost men don't lose guns. His tone carried weight like stone in river. The tallest woman whispered, his mind stands straight. Harder target. The missing woman said, he watches ground, not sky. The partner whispered, then we strike from height. Her eyes turned toward the low shed roof, flat, climbable, shadowed. The tallest woman nodded slowly. Yes, strike from above. Silence kill. Inside, the lead woman whispered, they prepare rooftop attack. The man whispered, then we must sink inside and outside. How signal? One trenchwoman asked. The lead woman answered, one stomp on main beam, only once. The lookout whispered, hunters move again, lantern at cage. Outside, 2 hunters leaned close to the cage door, inspecting locks again. The calm voice stared into dark yard, sensing movement he could not see. The The tallest woman whispered to the missing woman and partner, "We climb now. Slow. No board sound." They crawled toward the shed wall and lifted themselves up with controlled strength. Weight spread evenly. No creak. "Inside," the man whispered. "When they strike, I throw ash." The lead woman nodded. "And we rise from trench behind." The wounded woman whispered, "What of front door?" The lead woman answered, "They expect push. They never expect pull." At that moment, the rooftop trio reached final position. The tallest woman peered down over the edge, lips barely moving. "Ready." Inside, the lead woman pressed her foot against the main support beam. One silent stomp. Above, 3 giant silhouettes shifted to strike position, muscles ready, air held, hearts silent. Below them, the calm man turned his head slightly, sensing something. And then he whispered words that froze even the night air. "They are not running. They are surrounding us." The calm man's whisper rolled across the lantern light like a blade covered in velvet. Not loud, not frightened, but sure. The older trader snapped, "Surround! They hide like rats." The calm voice answered, "No. Rats dig down. These people rise up." On the shed roof, the tallest woman's muscles tightened. "He senses height," the missing woman whispered. "He feels pattern, not sound." The partner said, "Then we break pattern." Inside the cabin, the man whispered, "They know something changed. We must shift again." The lead woman nodded. "Yes, we act before light spreads." The lookout whispered, "Lanterns point wrong way. Back still dark." The wounded woman whispered, "Dark is life. Light is trap." Outside, the calm man stepped away from the cage and faced the shadows. He raised one hand, open palm, not to signal capture, but pause. "Listen, all of you," he said softly. "They are not prey. They are cornered storm." The older trader shouted, "We bought rights." The calm voice turned sharp. "You bought lies." One younger hunter muttered, "I don't like this job." The older trader yelled, "You like coin?" The calm man lowered his hand. "I didn't come for coin." Silence shaped tension like steel pulled across a whetstone. The tallest woman whispered, "He wants control of story." The missing woman answered, "He wants leadership, not kill." The partner added, "He wants trade of words, not bodies." Inside the trench, one woman whispered, "Divide enemy, break their unity." The lead woman nodded. "Yes, speak truth to weak hearts." The man whispered, "Use door voice." "Not open, only speak." She crawled near the door gap and spoke low but clear. "Coin hunters die in dark. Walk away while feet still strong." Outside, the nervous young hunter whispered, "They speak truth. This dark feels cursed." The calm voice answered, "Not cursed. Outplayed." The older trader spat, "I lead this group." The calm man replied, "You lead coin. I lead outcomes." The trader grabbed the cage bar and shouted, "We lock one and leave." At that moment, the tallest woman whispered from the roof, "He chooses target soon." The missing woman say. The tallest woman replied, "When they step closer to cage." Inside, the lookout whispered, "They shift lanterns toward cage." The lead woman whispered, "Then strike on next footstep." The man, "And I guard breath." Outside, the calm voice tried one last time, "You can still walk home with clean hands." The older trader barked, "Shut your mouth, half-preacher." He motioned 2 hunters closer to the cage. "Open it. Ready ropes." The younger hunter hesitated. "My hands shake." The trader growled. "Then use your teeth." He kicked the cage door latch. The metal clanked. The calm man whispered, "Don't cross that line." But the trader didn't care. He pulled the cage half open and shouted, "Come out or be dragged out." The tallest woman whispered above, "Next step starts storm." The missing woman whispered, "I take rope man." The partner whispered, "I take latch man." Inside, the man whispered, "I throw ash on lanterns." The lead woman whispered, "Then trench rises." The lookout whispered, 3, 2, 1. A hunter stepped forward to test the cage floor. That was the trigger. The tallest woman dropped from the shed roof like a falling tree, Knees bent, hands ready. She slammed down behind the rope carrier, knocking him to dirt before he could gasp. The missing woman swept rope away and kicked lantern from his hand. It crashed and rolled, light swinging wildly. At the same instant, the man inside threw the entire ash pan toward the door gap. Grey clouds exploded across the lantern beams, turning the air into blind fog. The lead woman stomped twice on the boards. Trench women burst upward, grabbing the lower halves of legs and pulling one hunter down with lightning force. Outside, the older trader screamed, "Ambush! Ambush! Shoot everywhere!" The calm man shouted, "Hold fire! Visibility 0!" But panic beat orders. A gunshot cracked across the dark. Nobody knew who fired. Nobody knew where it aimed. The missing woman whispered, "They shoot blind. Dangerous for all." The tallest woman whispered, "Smoke grows. Move positions again." Inside, the lookout gasped, "Flame near rope. Lantern oil spilled." The lead woman stared through rising dust and saw tiny sparks building near dry grass and spilled oil. Her voice cut the air. "If fire spreads, we all burn." The sparks near the spilled oil glowed brighter, tiny but hungry, like fire thinking about becoming fire. The lead giant woman whispered, "We fight, but we don't burn." The lone man grabbed a wool blanket. "I smother spark now." He slid toward the door gap, pressing the blanket through ash-filled air, covering the glowing patch before it reached rope or wagon wheel grease. Outside, the older trader coughed in the dust cloud. "Find targets. Grab someone." The calm man yelled, "Stop yelling. You reveal position." Another blind shot cracked through the dark. This time, the bullet punched into the dry dirt inches from the shed wall. On the roof, the partner whispered, "Shots turn wild. We move low." The tallest woman nodded. "Use them as their own noise." She grabbed the fallen hunter's coat and, without a word, threw it hard into another lantern beam. Silhouette shape, human-sized, wrong direction. Two panicked hunters fired at the coat, not realizing it wasn't a person. Inside, the lookout whispered, "They shoot ghost." The missing woman whispered, "Panic breaks lines." The lead woman said, "Then we strike center, not sides." The wounded woman sat up straighter. "Fear is weapon if held steady." Outside, the calm man covered his mouth with cloth, trying to breathe past the ash. He spoke, almost reluctantly. "Everyone freeze. Stop movement." The older trader snapped, "You don't command me." The calm man replied, "You chase profit, I chase truth." The trader tried rushing through the smoke toward the cage to use it as shield, but the missing giant woman stepped from the shadows and blocked the path with nothing but her presence. Tall, steady, silent. He stopped, shocked, seeing only her silhouette. She said nothing. Not a threat, just a wall that could move. The trader raised his gun. "Back away, Mountain!" the calm man shouted. "Don't shoot! You hit cage and oil!" But fear had already taken command. The tallest woman slid from a new flank, lifted the fallen hunter's rope, and swung it around the trader's gun wrist, not to snap, just to redirect. The gun fired harmlessly into skydust. The partner whispered, "Disarm, don't destroy." The tallest woman yanked the rope tight and pulled the gun away. The older trader fell to his knees, wheezing in anger, not pain. Inside the cabin, the lead woman whispered, "Now we control center, push advantage." The man whispered, "We exit only when smoke shifts." The lookout pressed her palm harder into the floor. "Wind moves south, smoke lifts soon." The lead woman nodded. "Then we exit as one." Outside, one confused hunter panicked and started waving his lantern toward the shed. The missing woman whispered, "Lantern is threat now." The partner nodded. "Remove flame, save land." With a fast but controlled move, she grabbed a pile of damp hay near the trough and shoved it onto the lantern, snuffing the flame without breaking glass. The calm man finally saw enough shapes to understand. "Your fight is not chaos, it is math." The tallest woman replied, "We don't fight loud, we fight clean." The calm man lowered his stance. "I see. You do not want bodies, you want distance." The lead woman spoke through the door. "Correct? We want path, not trophy." At that moment, one hunter tried to attack the missing woman from behind with rope, hoping to bind her arms. He failed. Her reflex was faster. She twisted and used her elbow to unbalance him, sending him into soft dirt, not rock. He groaned, humiliated more than hurt. "Why not finish me?" she answered. "We end threat, not life." The calm man exhaled. "Then talk before someone dies by accident." The lead woman opened the door only 1 inch, enough for voice, not for entry. "Talk if hands stay low." The calm man set his weapon down first. "I keep peace stance," the older trader screamed from his knees. "You fools!" "They're worth fortunes," the calm man replied. "Some things are worth not owning." The tallest woman whispered. He changes tone, not sure yet. The lead woman asked, "If talk, what terms?" The calm man lifted empty palms. "Freedom path. No cage, no branding." The older trader shrieked, "That's betrayal." The calm man stared at him. "No, that is honor." The lookout whispered from floor, "More riders far away." Small sound. "Not here yet." The lead woman said, "Then talk must finish fast." The calm man nodded. "Yes, decide fate before sun colors sky." The oldest giant woman present stepped forward slowly, speaking for the first time. "No choice ends clean, but some end right," the calm man said. "Then let me offer 2 paths, one risky, one painful." The lead woman replied, "We hear both." The calm man took a deep breath. "Path 1, leave now through canyon river cut. I delay riders and report nothing. Path 2, allow arrest under my escort, not theirs, and stand before tribal court for full truth." The older trader screamed, "You can't offer that. They're property." The calm man turned, voice like steel ice. "They are people, not stock." The lead woman whispered to her group, "Both paths cut skin." The man whispered, "Choice shifts future, not just safety." No one answered yet, not inside, not outside. The air held its breath. Finally, the lead woman looked at her sisters. "Vote circle," she whispered. They placed hands together, palms touching, and then she spoke, voice low, final. "We choose." The night still held smoke, but the air no longer shook with fear. The Ironwind nomad women stood in a half circle, steady and tall, watching the calm man wait for their answer. No guns raised, no ropes lifted, just breath, dust, and choice. The lead woman spoke first. "We value freedom. We value walk, not cage." The calm man nodded slowly. "Then you choose path 1. The tallest woman answered, "We leave, but we leave clean." The partner added, "No revenge, only distance." Inside the cabin, the lone man looked around the small room that had been his quiet world for years. His voice shook, not from fear, but from something heavier. "You should go before dawn light." "High ridge wind will cover tracks," the wounded woman whispered. "You helped us, why?" He swallowed, staring at the door. "I lived alone too long. I forgot people matter." The lead woman turned, her voice soft. "You found courage. That is enough." Outside, the calm man spoke to the other riders. "No more chase. Lower your hands." One nervous hunter lowered his gun first, then another. Then the youngest dropped his rope into dirt and stepped back. The older trader tried to rise, rage still carved into his voice. "You let gold walk away, they owe us." The calm man faced him, stance firm. "No person owes you life or body." The trader spat dust. "My business ruined." The tallest woman replied with steady tone, "Build new trade, not on fear." The lead woman stepped forward. "Tell others we crossed wind. No trail to follow." The calm man nodded. "I will say only that no harm was needed." The missing woman walked to the cage, touched the iron door, then released her grip. "This metal holds nothing now." With that, she lifted the door fully open, not as surrender, but as statement. A cage open in moonlight becomes warning, not prison. The lookout whispered to her sisters, "Wind turning colder, time moves." The lead woman gathered the group. "We leave silent, cool, but not afraid." The wounded woman asked the lone man, "What do you do now?" He looked out into darkness, voice quiet. "I walk with you to ridge, then return. My life stays here." The tallest woman studied him. "Why stay?" He answered, Home grows where hands worked. These walls hold effort. The partner gave a single slow nod. Effort has weight. We respect that. They prepared for silent departure. No horses, no torches. Only soft steps and sky. The calm man raised one last question. What should people know if they ask who you were? The lead woman answered without turning. Tell them we were wind travelers, not threat, not myth. The calm man replied, I will remember that. The iron-wind nomad women began walking toward the northern trees, shadows shifting like tall grass in night breeze. The lone man stepped beside them to guide the safest path across dry creek bed and through narrow ridge valley. As they walked, the wounded woman whispered, Will we find safe home? The lead woman replied, Home is not a point, it is a direction. The tallest woman added, As long as we walk together, ground stays strong. Behind them, the hunters watched in silence, not beaten, but changed. Some carried regret, some carried questions. And at least one carried new respect. The calm man whispered to himself, Strength is not height, it is choice. The older trader sat alone near the empty cage, staring at open bars. For the first time, he looked small, very small. High on the ridge, the lone man pointed to two path choices. Left to water, right to deep forest. The lead woman asked, Which keeps riders far? Forest, he answered. But water gives healing. The tallest woman said, We split never. We heal while hidden. The lookout placed her hand on the man's shoulder. You showed care when fear rose. He looked away, eyes damp in moonlight. I did nothing great. The partner spoke, You stood with truth, that is great. The lead woman turned to him one last time. Walk back safe. You are no longer alone, he whispered. Knowing you lived here makes this place less empty. The iron-wind nomad women walked into deep forest shadows, tall silhouettes fading into quiet night. No chains, no marks, no orders, just forward steps. The man watched until their final outline blended with trees. He placed his hand over his heart, not by habit, but by choice. From far below, the calm man saw him on the ridge and raised his hand in silent farewell. Not as allies, not as enemies, but as people who survived the same night with different lessons. The wind carried dust across the old cage, erasing tracks one grain at a time. By dawn, no footprint remained, only a story strong enough to survive without chains, only a choice brave enough to change more than one life, and only the wind, strong, free and moving forward,